Hello again, heroes, and welcome back to another episode of Paragon. Today we're going over the new hero on Paragon known as Revenant. He's a ranged advanced character with a Fury and Corruption build. He's got a basic attack of 9, ability power of 7, durability of 3, and a mobility of 1. So he's very slow and kind of squishy, but he's got a lot of attack power. So we're going to use that to our advantage, and we're going to build a deck around the crit lifesteal build. And this deck is used by one of the pros in the series. So let's get into the build, go over the deck, and also go over an in-depth guide on how to play Revenant with some gameplay. So starting off, we've got the deck build itself. Again, Revenant Crit Lifesteal. Now, the Crit Lifesteal build is designed to keep Revenant out in the field as long as possible with the most amount of health as possible, and deal the most amount of damage. So basically it's point and delete, and we're going to delete all the enemies on the opposing side and try to get all the way up to the inhib and all the way to the core. By end game you should be able to kill a minion with one shot. So this is going to start off with the Arch Magus, which is a 30 power to the prime, and then we've got the 1 health potion, 1 mana potion. We've got 2 healer tokens, and I'll explain why we have 2 momentarily. And then we've also got Touch of Thieves. Then we've got for the equipment a Madstone gem with 3 casts. We've got an Assassin's Ward with a major cast, a major strike, and a strike. We've got the Impact Hammer with 3 major casts and 2 wounds. And then we've got the Micro Nuke. We've got 3 Micro Nukes on this build, all with 1 strike, 1 cast, and 1 major wound. Very important to note that. Then moving forward, we've got a Hunger Maul, and we've got 3 lesser drains on that. Then we've got a Black Blood Virus with a drain, a greater drain, and a dire drain, which is going to have a crap ton of lifesteal. Like, so much lifesteal. It's ridiculous. It's literally got 27.5 lifesteal. So this right here is going to design Revenant to stay in the field, as I said before, as long as possible with the most health as possible. It's not increasing his health, it's just allowing him to get his health back as quickly as possible. So that means it's really important to be able to kill the minions and do the maximum amount of damage. So that's why we've got so much crit chance and power and lifesteal. That's what the build's designed around, and we're going to move over to some gameplay and talk about how you're supposed to actually use this deck and what order to use the cards. I'm going to give you a rough idea of where I'm going to start the cards though. So you're going to want to start with 1 health potion and 1 healer token. Healer token allows you to have some health regen, and the health potion is a good start so you can get your health back immediately if you need it. Alongside that, you're then going to want to start off with a Micro Nuke when you get your first 3 points. Hopefully when you teleport back for the first time you'll have 6, roughly. That way you can get a Micro Nuke, and you can also go for 1 major wound. Now let's move into the gameplay and talk about it a little bit more in depth. So getting into the Revenant gameplay guide for the portion of this video, we're going over the deck in more detail, what cards you should use at any given time and throughout whichever scenarios you may run across in a gameplay, and also what lane you should run. So at the beginning of the game, you want to start out with 1 health potion, a healer token, and you want to offlane. So that's going to use up your first 3 card points from the beginning of the game. Now offlaning, a lot of you may say that there's a lot more ads on left lane, and that's completely fine. You're going to want to keep back a ways and let your enemies come to you. When they do come to you, take the advantage and start attacking them with the amount of damage that Revenant can dish out. Alongside that, make sure that you keep your minions and the enemies pretty much in front of you. So keep your minions battling their minions, stay behind your minions and use them as a blanket shield, and then start damaging the enemies. Push forward once all your minions have destroyed the other minions and you've helped them out to gather more card points experience, and this will help you out significantly. You're going to try to push for the beginning of the game without teleporting and try to get at least 6 card points. Now depending on how many card points you have by the time you port back to base for the first time, if you have anywhere from 2 to 4 card points, you're going to want to purchase the Madstone gem. If you've got anywhere from 6 card points and higher, you're going to want to purchase the micro nuke and max out the micro nuke as much as possible. After that, you're going to want to go back to offlaning and then also play a little bit in the jungle if you need to, but don't do it too early. From here, you're also going to want to max out the next micro nuke. You're going to want to try to max out 2 micro nukes in the beginning of the game, and this is going to set you up for success for the rest of the game. From here, you can kind of opt in for whatever you truly need. There's several cards that you can actually dish out, and that's going to be the Assassin's Ward, the Impact Hammer, the Madstone Gem if you haven't purchased it yet, and you're also going to have the ability to get the Hunger Maul. Now the Hunger Maul is a very costly card, and if you can get it in the beginning of the game, that is going to lead to a very successful game for Revenant, because it's going to be the crit lifesteal build that you need. If you max out at least 2 micro nuke cards and get a maxed out Hunger Maul, you'll have all of the power, the crit damage, and also the lifesteal that you need to make a successful move in the game. This is going to also allow you to start roaming around the map. You can actually go from left lane offlaning over to mid lane, over into the jungles. You can go and raptor farm, and you can also go and take out Orb Prime all by yourself. From here, you should at least be a recommended level of 10 on your character, with at least a maxed out micro nuke, a maxed out impact hammer, and a maxed out Hunger Maul to go and take out Orb Prime. But don't worry, if you're around level 9 or 8 and you have 3 micro nukes or 2 micro nukes and a Hunger Maul, you should have no problem taking out the raptors. Alongside that, you can run over to right lane if they need any help. This is going to allow you to maximize the amount of adds or minions that you take out, and alongside that, at about 10 to 15 minutes into the game, you should be racking up about 1 kill every 60 seconds, making the amount of kills that you have in 15 minutes into a gameplay around 15, maybe even higher. Then when you get into the 20-minute mark in a game, you should actually be close to maxing out your character to level 15, and alongside that, maxing out your card points. And with maxing out your card points, you should, by the end of the game, have 3 micro nukes maxed out, a Hunger Maul maxed out, an Impact Hammer maxed out, and an Assassin's Ward maxed out. If you have all of these maxed out, you're in the end game phase. Now the end game phase, I cannot stress enough. You've got a Black Blood virus in your deck for a reason. If you have extra card points, then make sure that you start figuring out what you want to trade out of your build to get the Black Blood virus. Black Blood virus is a very costly card, but it's going to have a really nice lifesteal amount to it, which is going to allow you to survive pretty much endlessly in the game. End game is very crucial because if you die, then, well, you have an 80-second timer that you have to wait for before the game is over. And that's a very problematic cost. You are the one that's going to keep the game alive. If your teammates die, and you die, there's nobody to protect your inhibs, your towers, or especially your core. And that's a very crucial mistake in endgame. So you want to not die. And since Revenant's so squishy, lifesteal is a very big part of that. Now the cool thing is the Hunger Maul is already going to give you lifesteal. It's going to actually give you up to 10 lifesteal. And the Black Blood virus, if you can trade out one of your very costly cards, one of the micro nukes, you can actually go for the Black Blood virus, which is going to give you a passive of 5 lifesteal. And then you can decide to opt in for whether you need a Dire Drain, a Greater Drain, or a Drain. Now Drain will give you another 5 lifesteal, making that 10. If you can opt in for a Greater Drain, that's a 7.5. And if you can opt in for that maximum cost Dire Drain for a 4 card cost, you'll get an extra 10, which maxes the Black Blood virus out to another 15 lifesteal, which is going to allow you to survive for quite a long time. Remember though, priority of the game is to keep your minions in front of you to blanket a lot of the damage that you're going to take. Also making sure that you can use your abilities appropriately. Now, going over the abilities on Revenant a little bit. Now, if you're going to face off against too many people off lane, it's really crucial to get to level 5 as quickly as possible. This allows you to get your ulti. Now, your ultimate allows you to pull somebody into the nether realm where you can face off against them in a 1v1 match. Doing this will separate you from the crowd and allow you to take on that one-to-one opponent. If you take out one opponent and there's 1 or 2 left on offlane, don't worry. You can take out 1 to 2 people together simultaneously pretty easily with Revenant. As I said before, this deck is very forgiving, and for new players out there trying to master a harder to learn character, this deck is for you. Revenant decks are hard to come by, they're costly, and if you can get a hold of the cards, then definitely take the time to build the deck and play with Revenant a little bit. Trying him out with this deck is going to make him 10 times easier to use, and let me tell you, Odyssey Grimwall, I have to give a huge shout out to my buddy because he gave me this deck build and I tried it out and I started going from 15 to 30 kills up to 25 to 45 kills, and he can get over 50 kills every single game that he does with Revenant with this deck. So if he can get anywhere from 50 up, then I'm pretty excited with what this deck could do in the right hands. So pro level Revenant gameplay, I will be uploading Odyssey Grimwall's footage onto the channel. So if you want to watch this full gameplay that you're watching right now without any cuts, make sure to go check out the link in the description or go and check out that video on the channel. But if you enjoyed this guide and it helped you out to learn how to use Revenant and what deck build you should build, then please leave a like on the video, share it with all of your friends that play Paragon, and as always, heroes, stay violent, be privileged.
Oh, hi. VPG isn't here right now, but I guess you enjoyed the content. So over there is the logo you can click on. That will allow you to subscribe. More content up there, and behind the scenes daily content over here on the vlog channel. There you go. Enjoy!